Let's make sure this is working. To Facebook. First time streaming to Facebook, so let's hope all the software and stuff works as it should. Got some viewers coming in. How's it going, everybody? What's up? What's up? Happy Tuesday night, little surprise show here. Hope everyone's having a great evening, and thank you all for joining us. There we go. There's the viewership count. What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday night. There, the viewership's climbing. What's up, Luigi? How are you guys? How's it going? Thank you all for joining. We got 7 or 8 beautiful individuals ready to discuss tonight. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. So a couple more seconds here, let people join in. Make sure everyone's got their drinks full and their snacks to their left. What's up, Gary O'Brien? How are you, my friend? How's it going? All right, I'm gonna start bringing these guests in. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I know this was kind of like last minute urgent, but I think, you know, Mark and I thought the matter was that urgent. It's sad to see every time you log into Facebook now, sadly, we see a track close or a track cancel race days due to lack of entries or lack of people coming to the track. So something important that we wanted to bring to attention and, you know, hopefully generate some ideas and give you guys perspectives of the track owners and, you know, the hard work and the long hours they put in. So we have a place to race, not just for you guys once a month, but, you know, you guys got to support these guys back end again. So we'll have another show next Tuesday as well. We have another 8 track owners coming on. We got track owners from all over the world reaching out to us. So it's cool because we'll have different perspectives, how different people run their track, what worked, what doesn't work. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and make sure you guys tune into next week. So first up, we got the one and only Mark Frechette, his track Rosecity Speedway from Welland, Ontario. Mark, thanks for joining us once again, my friend.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We're happy to have you. Next up, we got Brandon Marshall from Windsor RC Raceway in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Marshall, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, my friend. Up next, we got Casey Young from 180 Raceway, located in Maryland. Casey, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. Up next, we got Brian Davis, OnTrack Raceway in Alabama. Brian, thanks for joining.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Roll Tide. Oh yeah, baby. That's my team.
Up next, we got Danny Buck from SARCAR, Saskatchewan. Danny, thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. Up next, we have Korgae Scales coming in from the Clubhouse in British Columbia, Canada. Korgae, thank you.
Some weird audio from him.
There we go, Max. There
Yeah.
we go.
Korgae, just check your audio. I think we have some audio issues. Get that fixed up.
Korgae's buzzing.
You're making a loud ticking noise when I bring you on the screen. And last but not least, we have Justin Hengelfelt from Magic City RC Club in Montana. Justin, thank you for joining us.
Montana, baby.
Bye.
How's it going?
Love the shirt.
Korgae, you're still ticking here.
Just curious, can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear a thing.
Oh, you can't hear us.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Make sure your volume's turned up. Korgae had that problem when he joined. Korgae, try leaving and coming back in. Should fix the problem, hopefully, because Korgae was fine before show we tested. So
Kind of sounds like a taser going off.
yeah. His wife's behind him, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Felix, check to make sure no one has crystals for radio feedback. Not happening. What's going on, Racer? BC, Hengelfelt, you got Stormer Hobbies in the house. Well, guys, thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure. You know, you guys are all well-respected track owners all around North America, which is awesome to see. all you guys' tracks I've heard about. They're doing well. No one has heard about. Check these guys out. But what I quickly want to do is go one by one, give everyone a moment to explain a little bit about your track, who you are, what your track does, what kind of offer, and just give us a 30-second clip of what your track's like. We'll start off with you, Showtime.
Okay, yeah, I'm representing Rosecity Speedway. It's not actually my track; it's Mike Wilson's track. He owns everything, but Mike honestly is he's not. He wouldn't do this sort of videos for one, and Mikey also he's at his wit's end and very negative. So the whole thing would be. He actually said it would be very negative. So it's an on-road track, on-road carpet. He tried some off-road a little bit. 2-3 guys come out. They said there'd be a whole bunch of guys, but never happens. So basically, the track is basically an on-road carpet track.
Perfect. Brandon Marshall, Windsor RC Raceway just opened up too long ago. Tell us a little bit about your guys' track.
So we took over when Action Hobbies Kingsville was being vacated from their building. So originally we were a temp track. We just basically rolled the carpet out, taped it out Friday night, raced on Sunday, and rolled it all back up. And then recently we got a building, then we lost it. So we just got a new spot, and it's quite extensive. We got carpet on road and oval. We got a crawler track in there, and we got a drift track and a hobby shop on site as well.
Nice. Casey, I'm sure many people have heard of 180 from some of your fast guys that come out of there, but tell us a little bit more about 180.
I'm Casey Young with 180 Raceway. I took over the track after it went through a couple bankruptcies about 10 years ago. So our 10th season's coming up. We are on-road carpet. We've got quite a few fast guys that hang out at our place, but we've got a great group of locals that support the track. And I've got a unique situation set up where the landlords were a little bit difficult to work with. So I made them an offer that carpet on-road seasons during the winter for us, October to March. So I set up a split deal with them where I rent from them 6 months out of the year. And then I, quote, give the track back to the landlord, and it's at risk every year. And we go through the same negotiation process every year. So that helps cut down my costs during the summertime. In the summertime, I like to support other tracks as I started off racing on-road outdoors in the early to mid-90s with Hobbyworks in Maryland for the TCS series. So I've been a race director kind of ever since then, but actually stood up to take control of the track because I needed a place to race. Awesomatics USA is our presenting sponsor. So manufacturers like that, I put out an RFP to some different manufacturers to see if they would like to support us. Awesomatics USA stood up. They've supported us 9 years out of the 10 years, and we're very thankful for them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Brian Davis from Alabama, OnTrack Raceway. What do you guys got going on over there?
We do carpet on road, carpet oval, and carpet off road. We've been in business about 8 years. We started out in a non-climate controlled building. It was like a warehouse, and it was horrible in the summertime. It was 100 degrees outside. It was 100 degrees inside. Not sure what that is in Celsius for you Canadian guys, but
hot enough.
Yeah, it was hot. We would actually cancel practice days. It would get so hot in the building. 2.5 years ago, we had the opportunity to move into a retail space that we share with another business, and that significantly helped with the cost, and it made the environment a whole lot better being climate controlled. So, and we alternate between the 3 types of racing each week, and we see the same issues across all 3. So.
Gotcha. Thank you. Danny Buck. I love that name. SARCAR, Saskatchewan. What do you guys got going there in the double S?
So we're a carpet on-road track. We've been in operation as a club. So I guess it is a club-owned track since, I think, 2003. I myself been racing with them since 2005. And we kind of started out as a kind of the school gym operation, hauling in carpet every week, that whole thing. And in 2009, we got an opportunity to actually move into the basement of what at that time was a clothing store, and we've been there ever since. So our focus is our focus is touring car, 12 scale, low C NASCAR as that's kind of popped up. It's not a big facility, it's not a fancy facility, but it's home. So we're lucky to have it for sure.
Awesome to hear. Korgae, the clubhouse, the hangout in British Columbia. How do you guys operate over there?
Yeah, so we're in British Columbia. We're located in Salmon Arm. We're primarily an on-road club for most of the year, and then we set up for carpet off-road for the summer months. We do that basically just to kind of change it up for our racers. We have a different perspective. So my club is 100% membership driven. You have to pay a monthly membership to be part of it, over and above anything else. And so this is kind of the model that I came up with to give me peace of mind, in investing in the track, operating the track. It makes a little bit smaller membership, but at the same time, we always seem to have new members that want to be part of that. They're always kind of, hey, can we join? Can I join? This and that, right? So we use it for a variety of things, testing, practice. There's a lot of other clubs that we support in our area, and we work with those clubs as much as possible. So I don't want to step on any of our local clubs' toes, but at the same time, we're providing a permanent building where racers can practice or test.
Awesome to hear. Last but not least, Justin, Magic City RC Club down in Montana. How are you guys rocking and rolling out there?
So we are actually not a permanent facility. We're just a club that sets up in our local Boys and Girls Club. We do like 9 races a year. But I think some of that has helped us with only having like 9 races a year. Our attendance seems to be pretty high. We do carpet on-road during the winter, and we try to do carpet off-road during the summer, as long as we can get people there to set up the track. So we have to set it up and tear it down every race.
Awesome to hear. Guys, as we know, it's a scary space, I would like to say. We've seen a lot of tracks sadly closing. In the last week and a half, I've seen 3 facilities close, ones that are, striving, thought we were striving, obviously. I've seen a lot of tracks cancel races due to lack of entries on Saturday, Sunday, whatever it may be. How does that scare you guys as track owners, seeing that the direction of these, big facilities going? Or how do you guys, when you read that stuff, what comes to mind?
You want to go around the horn and ask us one by one, or should we just jump in?
We'll go around the horn so it's clear. Showtime, go ahead. Does that scare you, seeing that kind of stuff for your local club?
For Mike, oh yes, all the time. Racers disappear. The rent that he has there, it's over, the Rosecity Speedway is over 10,000 square feet. And Danny, was it Danny that said that yours is in a basement somewhere or whatever? You know what, bro, in this hobby, 40 years in this hobby, it doesn't matter where it is. Where this track is, we're actually in a plaza with everything, even a gym in there, to a liquor store, to a whole grocery store, to our Tim Hortons out front, Shoppers Drug Mart and all this. And guess what? They still don't come. Enough parking outside, tracks, 48 by 76 or something like that. Pitting for like 80 guys inside, 90 guys. Mike put TVs in every room. He's done this, he's done that. And you know what? Yeah, I'll be that bad guy. It's known already as only the good guys race there. And I'm sure you guys already heard that. Well, 180 is one place my kids got to come race, because yes, you want to run against the good guys. And that is the shit, 180. But
you guys got to come down.
So as soon as that happens, you're screwed. So 40 years, 30 years ago, when Steve, actually my buddy Steve, opened up a track, and same thing, racing was huge then. This is the early 90s, 91, 92. There had to be 70, 80 guys showing up just for a club race, all this. He thought it's time to open up a permanent place. He did. We were in Alabama, Georgia, right? We took everything from every track, and he built the ultimate RC thing, from a full hobby shop up front, tracks inside, tracks outside. And like a club type thing was still going on, whether it was indoor or outdoor. And we thought we'd just get everybody to come, and it split it right down the middle. right down the middle. So instead of 70 guys, it ended up being 30, 35, and only the good guys ran there, what they say, and you're done. That's how it rolls. So again, I don't want to be the sour guy, but I'll start it out that way. So that's the issue I see. And no matter how much you help people or whatever you do, as soon as you get that for your track, you are done. I'm sorry, Matt. The question is about, is it scary? All the time. I don't know how Mike comes up with the rent. You know what I mean? I really don't know how he does it.
I dance.
Lucky enough, I knew the guy. Yeah, lucky enough, I knew the guy that actually was renting the place. So it's over 10,000 square feet. And I'll be honest with you, right? For what he got it for, yes. And he still can't make the rent. And we're in the summer, which is even worse. And I understand guys go run off road, guys do some other stuff. You go golf, fish, whatever, need a break. But there's got to be somebody. And I think it was that gentleman there actually gave an idea. And I'm going to throw that out there already. Why can't guys in this hobby, okay, say you always want a place to come back in September. Somebody said, why not if the guys just actually said, okay, I'm not going to race all summer, I can't, but what if the guy threw in $20 each week? And all of a sudden you had 20, 40 guys throwing in $20 a week. Wouldn't that help the place? And not asking for, well, that's my track time come the winter. That's just giving it that I have a place to go play in 3-4 months when I come back. And I'm sorry to ramble on because there's a hot day today and I'm hot already and I'm pissed off. And it's just, I need a change in this hobby. And the problem is 40 years in this hobby, and I'll tell everybody, I love the hobby. That's my problem. I don't even race anymore. I run the Canadian Nats. My kids showed some interest. Bryce did. And I wish I hated the hobby, but I don't. I said, it's like the mafia. They always bring you back in. And Mike would always say at his own track, he'd always say, Mark, there's a new guy here. And I'd be like, what's his name? He says his name. I'm like, he ain't new, right? He's been out of the hobby for about 10 years and he came back. That's the issue as well, right? But anyway, sorry, go on. I can go on forever, and right. Let Brandon go. I apologize, guys. I don't want to be my angry self.
I think Mark took my answer.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I had talked to Mark earlier this week. Basically, first of all, was thanking him to be a part of this, but we offer different levels of not only membership but practice passes at our facility. We literally just got the facility in May, which is for an on-road track, just absolutely pure suicide. But we also looked at it as, you know what, we got a little bit of time to maybe build this up to be something important for not only locally, but for the industry and for the hobby. Is it scary? When isn't it? I mean, rent doesn't go the wrong way, does it? Rent always seems to want to go up. And unfortunately, small businesses or tracks, they suffer at it. I had mentioned to Mark, like, we offer $50 practice pass. I think everybody can throw $50 a month to help a facility. It's a small drop in the bucket, but it makes a huge difference when the bell tolls at the end of the month. I mean, we just had our grand opening last week. Unfortunately, we didn't do as well as Mr. Frechette did over here with his turnout, but we made the most of what we had. We benefit a little bit. We get some of the U.S. guys coming over. Like we get Dave Johnson over pretty often, Todd Bigelow, and Paxton when in the winter is starting to come out, and Nelson Kelso. We benefit a lot from having those guys coming out, but we get. And I'm probably going to be put at the stake for this one, but we get more support and more good vibes from them coming across the border to come race at our facility than we do getting some of our local guys coming out. I mean, I'm not hating on the. What's up? Go ahead.
Good question for you. Are you guys a full-time track where you've got like store hours throughout the day?
Yep.
Are you open and operational 5 days a week? So paying staff to keep the shop open, the lights open, and hope that we've got retail traffic coming through?
Well, we have one gentleman that runs the hobby shop. He does do it as his full-time job right now. I mean, by no
You've
means.
got labor on top of fixed cost as well.
Well, none of us are unfortunately earning a paycheck at this.
Yeah.
It sucks to say it. I've been at this over 30 years myself. I love the hobby. I don't plan on going anywhere, and I love everything that the hobby brings, but it definitely needs something to revive it. I wouldn't say it's dead, and I wouldn't say it's dying, but I would say it's on a downward trajectory, which is hurting everybody that's in this chat right now. Mine is Max because he sold his hobby shop.
And maybe there's a reason for that.
But yeah, that's my perspective. I always try to look at what we can do to bring people in. But aside from going to their house, knocking on their door, grabbing their ankles, and pulling them to the track, I got no other options.
So back where I'm from in Kentucky, way back when I was a kid, the church bus used to show up at your house on Sundays, whether you told them to or not. And they all say from the Sunday school. I could see it now, the RC bus. It'd probably be a short bus, but the RC bus.
As long as you got helmets on board.
But you're right, Brandon. Same with us. Same with at the Rosecity. What do you think, Max? 70% of the building drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to come. But the local guy that I know can carry his bag to the track has been there once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting with our track. We have a ton of races in our area. You know, on a winter weekend, we probably have 70 guys racing RC cars within two tracks, 20 minutes apart. Permanent facility up the road, 15 minutes away, and nobody comes.
Wow.
I wish I had an answer. I think I have my answer for it, and I think Casey, I was going to ask you if it's something you experienced because you know your level of club has produced a high level of RC racers with Sam, Craig, Robbie, Mike G. The list goes on, right?
Long list.
Long list.
So that long list started. So just for a little bit of history, I started running the races here in Maryland area with Hobbyworks back in '96. It was a Tamiya only style racing, parking lot racing. We did it seasonal in the summertime. We had a indoor track called The Track that was way back then. It was just carpet on-road oval. She's still in business somehow. And I applaud her for staying in business. She's now indoor off-road. But folks like Robbie and Craig and Mike G and Sam, those guys started grassroots with Tamiya cars. A lot of them did. So you catch, for me, it's always catching, you know, those folks when they're young. Some of them had their parents, you know, involved with them, bringing them to the track, letting them race. So it's always one, a good stewardship to embrace the parent and, you know, child scenario to keep them interested, and then offer your assistance and offer a little bit of help, knowing that in time they're going to end up blowing right by you speed-wise when you try to race them heads up, you know, because they're going to invest the time to get better where they can. But one of our focuses is just to embrace new people coming to the track, reaching out to, like I just posted the other day, you know, we're announcing our 10th season. So, hey, who are those guys from 10 years ago that used to race with us? Where are they now? Check on them. We had a family last year at the end of the season show up to my track. The guy looked familiar, but I couldn't remember. And he had his son with him. So I go and talk to him. He's like, oh, yeah, Mr. Casey, I remember you from 20 years ago. You helped me in the parking lot races. And now he's got his son racing. So we've got some of those stories as well where we try to keep it positive. We do the season pass membership where I work out some metrics. We're open 6 months out of the year. You do some math. You've got a few big events. You give the season pass members discounts on tires and things like that, and some discounts on T-shirts. But once they attain that season pass, that gains them entry into our chat group. That's a proprietary chat group that we keep kind of locked to outsiders, where we all communicate little speed secrets here and there. Some folks that stepped up to be season pass members, you know, end up being fast. Look at Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold's on Team Schumacher, and he's fast, right? and he was a season pass member, and then boom, he's up to speed. Not that that's the recipe to get fast, but the recipe is who you surround yourself with is where you end up attaining to be at that level. The challenges, like everyone else stated, the cyclical seasonal style of, people phasing in, phasing out, not able to commit a whole year to a full-time hobby shop. I'm only open 2 days a week in the winter. That's it, Saturday and Sunday. So my light bill isn't as crazy as it would be if I was open all year round. Same thing for HVAC. The HVAC bills are not as much as someone else would think they would be. I don't carry a retail license, so the space is a little bit of risk, but I've got the space leased directly to me in my name, and it's technically a storage space where my friends come and hang out and race cars. Right?
If I may ask,
sure.
Your seasonal pass, is that for that 6 month bracket, or is it like a monthly go?
It's a 6 month season. It's for the 6 month season that gains you special what we call them Sunday session days or training session days, where it's only open to season pass members. We get the track open and we're all out there training. And what we do when we're training and racing, we're all sort of in the same ballpark of the same speed for the most part, and we all take turns leading, and we all try to follow as closely as we can without destroying each other. So we try to develop some racecraft there. But as soon as Robbie and Mike G and those folks get in the lead, they just leave us, and then we can't keep up. But we all work together to try to make ourselves a little bit quicker, and we've got a base of some fast guys. And when one guy finds a little bit of an edge, then the next guy will find a little bit of an edge. And then me, I'm a Tamiya diehard guy. So I'm still running, all Tamiya gear. I'm known as, the Tamiya guy, and my color is PS3 blue. So everyone knows me there. If anyone wants to come to my track, don't be running no blue colors. You got to get specific permission to run blue at my place. But I want to invite you all to come down, but I appreciated the invite, and I wanted to share, I set it up unique so it doesn't break my back. When we talk about risk, I know that there's X amount of $1,000 per year that I put at risk for the track, right? Not that we'll share that number with the large audience, but it's significant. And then I have to be okay if everything just doesn't go well, then I'm going to eat that cost for that 6 month period. But then the beauty of it is I'm only committed for 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
But then the fear of it is I have to renegotiate, re-engage the lease. The landlords call me from time to time. Hey, is the key in the lockbox? Yes, it is. I've got my cameras up in the building, then I can see who's walking through, looking at the space. My fear is that a Harbor Freight, if anyone here knows Harbor Freight Tools, they moved in 3 doors down. So that's why the rent went up this year. I was like, whoa, that's a jump. But Harbor Freight brings value. I'm in the parking lot with Walmart. We've got 3 restaurants right in a row with us. So yeah, the time may come where the rent doesn't make sense for me to take that personal risk. And the time may come that someone else might want to be the new neighbor to Harbor Freight.
Gotcha.
Oh, and AutoZone's on the other side. That's where everyone goes to get their blue towels.
I just want to let you know, Tamiya PS3 is my color. So we'll have to battle it out. If ever I come, I need to have the permission because I bought 30 cans at a time of that color. So we'll have to talk.
So there's an application form that you can submit with your resume, and we'll put it in front of the board to see if they'll allow you in the building.
That's not 100% true. He has had custom paint work done.
Yes.
Yes. Brandon Marshall Bodies by Brandon has painted me beautiful bodies. Brandon, I'll message you soon because I need some for this season. So.
Especially if you go down there.
I don't know how manufacturers or how you guys potentially reached out to manufacturers for any kind of support. My second year, because the first year was a loss. The second year I went out there and I sent an RFP to all the manufacturers in the U.S. and all the big distributor shops in the U.S. And it was Awesomatics USA that jumped on board, kind of outbid everyone because I wanted to set it up kind of like stadium naming rights. So it's 180 Raceway presented by Awesomatics USA, and that's what it is. And we just announced that that's what it's going to be this season as well for our 10th season. So there were other companies in the mix when we first started talking. Obviously, some of our fast guys are sponsored by other manufacturers, and we were engaged in those conversations. But we're Awesomatics USA 180 Raceway. So if there's
That's awesome.
there for you guys to reach out. I mean, not that it's significant help. They're not paying 6 months worth of bills, but every little bit helps, right? Every little bit helps. And I'll be announcing soon that our season pass is going to end up being about the cost of a car kit for someone for that season. That gets them, discounts on tires throughout the year, discounts on T-shirts. It gets them special practice sessions, like I said, and free entry for every race day, even the large events throughout the entire 6-month period.
That's
So
awesome.
if they step up front, that helps me get the upfront bills paid, the tire bills paid, those kind of things. Gets me a little bit of dollars in the bank for rent, so I can front load the rent a little bit, and then we're good to go.
Gotcha.
And sorry, is that a one-time fee that they pay for the season?
One
One
time
time.
for the whole season. So a lot of guys, what we'll do, like in the text message group right now, the guys are chatting back and forth a little bit. But in the text message group, I'll put out there, hey guys, season passes X, and I'll be announcing it here soon. Those guys will pay that fee one time, and they're done for a 6-month period. But now they've got access to everything. They'll forget that they've spent that money, but then they're going to enjoy the benefit of that. So it's a little bit of a mind shift for them as well. You pay once for your whole indoor season, then you don't worry about that on your budget for racing. They know that they get a discount on tires, and they know that they get, little deals that I throw in here or there. And then that every race is all they got to do is say, hey, Casey, sign me up. Even for our big race, Winter Warrior race, December 11th through 13th, please be there.
Plug that pretty good. That was a pretty good plug.
That's similar to how I do my club too. They pay a
terrific.
set membership. Yeah, they pay a set membership of $100 every month.
Okay.
And that covers their practice fees and everything like that. All the track days are included on that. Now, if there's any special events, then they would pay on top of that. But for me, it's created a demand. Like I said earlier, guys want to join the clubhouse, and I think we're trying to break that mold and get people used to that. There's a membership, that there's keys to it on both sides, right? I always kind of make the analogy: you don't see people go spend thousands of dollars on a set of clubs and go to the gravel pit to hit balls, right? They want the nice greens, they want a nice golf course, and it's no different in RC. If you want a nice track, then you got to pay to play, right? And you got to do it on the sense that, the masses, right, all giving a little bit of money makes a big safe budget for us to get a year done, right? So
how exactly, didn't you say that there's a couple tracks that you support in the area?
there is. So we don't do well. This year's actually gonna be a little bit different because I'm involved in the day-to-day club activity of, say, One Track in Kelowna, but we don't have access to racing every weekend. So we might race once a month or twice a month usually. So we're going to fill the void with
the club goes to a different
Sorry?
track at different times. Somebody,
I think he missed the
completely
question.
different club.
so it's one club,
So
but you've got
can you hear
several
me?
different tracks that you can travel
Nope.
to.
No. So my place is just called the Clubhouse, which I personally own. But then for the better of the community of racing within our region, we support, so my members also support other clubs. And the Kelowna Club is basically a rollout club, right? Rent the gym for set amounts of hours at set amount dollars per hour. And they hope and pray that they get the entries. They set up the track on a Sunday, they tear it down on a Sunday. So I think that's a big key. And I mean, that particular club has been around for over 20 years. So we want to support that. So I send my guys there. A lot of my guys are in both places. We feel like we don't want to, like at my clubhouse, we don't want to compete with the clubs, right? So if I close down, you know, I want to make sure they're still racing in Kelowna, right, on a monthly basis.
So you guys coordinate
so that's
schedules.
how we do it.
You coordinate.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
yeah.
for me here in Maryland, I mean, we've got a big carpet track up in New York City that my friend up there owns up at 360. There's a couple other carpet tracks, you know, here and there on the East Coast that we all kind of coordinate with. One of the carpet tracks in Pennsylvania just switched to carpet off-road and carpet oval only. So we'll see how, you know, the racers disperse from there, depending on which classes that they prefer to run. Another thing that, you know, you kind of look at is population density in your area. And then you kind of think about, with population density, how many people are going to be interested in actually physically building a car kit, coming out to a track and racing. What is that mathematical factor versus kids just sitting in their bedroom playing video games? So for me, I would expect somewhere like 360 up in New York City to have the largest population density. They should have the largest turnout, which they do have healthy turnouts up there for a very nice facility. But for me in my region, we should be a close second. And the post that I put out there was that our 2023/24 season was our better season for average attendance when you go back and look at your live RC and everything like that. But with the rent going up, I need an extra 2.3 racers per weekend to sign up to race with us at our $30 entry fee for as many classes as you want to run for us to average out to make the rent. So it goes down all the way to those basics. You know, I don't factor in, you know, the margin on tire sales because anymore it's tough because everyone here knows the cost of tires has gone up. My cost of tires went from $17, you know, and, you know, back when we used to sell a set of tires for $25 and now tires are $28, $30 for a set of tires now. So those costs have gone up. Therefore, you got to raise the cost, and sometimes that might push someone out that's on the edge. Sometimes
that
like what you
population
do,
density.
What's that?
Yeah, I like what you do with creating demand, though. Only being open 2 days a week. I'm similar with that. So I feel like if you're open too much, it's too convenient for racers to go, and then you do get the low turnouts. So we're open twice a week, same as you. And it's like those guys want to come, like they're planning their days, they're looking forward to it, and then we get better turnout, which equals, you know, better groove in the track, a nicer atmosphere, you know, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah, I like the smack talk of all of my people as well, especially our season pass people and talking smack to each other. People getting
What
cut.
kind of population densities are you guys talking about? Like, what are you guys at?
So for me, my personal business, I'm in healthcare. So that's strategically, I look at where I'm going to place business and assets and things like that. But population density is the population of your local metropolitan area. And then you start to do some.
No, I know, but what is your guys, like, what are we talking? A couple 100,000 or how big are your guys' areas?
The Washington, D.C., Baltimore metro area. That's about 7 million.
Yeah. Oh.
Justin, I think you and I are probably
be the population of your entire state. I understand.
I live in the most populated city in Montana. We're at 125,000 people.
So I would think I am just taking a flyer that folks in Montana might like some like off-road e-buggy 8-scale stuff. That would just be my first thought when I think of Montana.
So we've had a couple dirt off-road tracks and they just don't last.
Really
interesting.
Yeah, they're 12.
There's too much stuff to do outside Montana in the summer. Hiking, fishing, camping, you know. During the winter when it's 30 below and it's snowing, people don't want to go outside.
We had that problem all year long on the Gulf Coast. Beaches and outdoors. I mean,
I'm gonna save your contact information. I do want to come out fishing in the summertime to Montana.
You should visit his
We got
track
plenty
too.
of it.
I'll pay an entry fee if I can't make it anyway.
But Brian, your track's interesting because before the show you mentioned that you guys do all of it at once. So you guys do oval, you guys do carpet off-road, you do off-road, or on-road, sorry. You put a shit ton of work into your track, changing the layout, and then you said on the weekend you had 5 guys show up.
On the weekends, it's usually better. So we actually have 2 different groups of racers because we race Monday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturdays. On Saturdays, we get guys from all along the Gulf Coast. We get guys all the way from Louisiana down into Florida, northern parts of Alabama, Mississippi, pretty much all along the coast. Weeknights, it's the locals. And for some reason, the locals tend to not show up on the weekend. Maybe 2 or 3 guys that are local will show up on the weekend because they're off doing other things. Like I said, we've got beautiful weather most of the year, and it's nice outside. So they're doing other things. They're playing golf. Their kids are playing sports. They're going to the beach. They're going, ATVs out in the woods, whatever. So we have to compete with that.
Are you a full-time operation as well?
We are. We're only closed on Tuesdays. So the retail shop only focuses on racing, though. I don't carry like crawlers or monster trucks or stuff that we're not going to race because I have a chain hobby shop 10 minutes away that is stacked floor to ceiling with that stuff.
With all the Traxxas and Axel.
Yeah, Traxxas and Arma, and
yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to try to compete with them. They've been in business for 30 years, and they're not going anywhere.
And Danny, your track out there in Saskatchewan, you guys are a tear up, tear down track.
Not
Or
anymore.
no, you guys are permanent track.
Yeah, we're a permanent track. We have been since 2009. We're in a basement, like I mentioned before. It's small. There's so many good points that some of the other people made that I feel like are like relevant to us that I actually had to start taking some notes here. But but
You can just watch again.
Yeah, go back. Sorry, guys, I haven't caught up yet. But yeah, like the permanent aspect of it is nice. But we're saved by our low overhead. Like where we are. I mean, we're like right now. I said we're in the basement of a clothing store. It's upstairs. It's been all sorts of things. Right now, it's a brewery. So like we're not we're not in prime real estate. So the fact that we're not in prime real estate means our rent has stayed down, and we haven't had to like massively increase costs. We haven't had to do any of that stuff. We haven't had to deal with a lot of that. But if we did, there was a few years ago, kind of before, there started being a little more kind of cross pollination, so to speak, between like the on-road and off-road scenes locally. We were down to like 4 guys.
Yeah.
There was like 4 guys keeping the track open.
Wow.
So that was tough. And I guess to the point about people coming out and just being like exponentially faster than everybody else, and that being a little discouraging for new people. When you have the same 4 people that are just there like doing laps all the time, regardless of who it is, even if they're not necessarily super naturally talented, like they're gonna get good at it compared to Joe off the street that just comes in. So yeah, that's been a little bit of a tough thing. Things are picking up now with the low C NASCARs. It's been
those are a great entry point.
Dude, they're so awesome. It's been, I think before the show I was kind of saying that when I got into the hobby in 2005, you could go down to your local hobby store and you get an RTR, you get a TC4, a triple XS, or an HPI Pro 4, and it came with radio, battery, like the whole bit. You could basically take it out of the box, throw the battery in the charger, and go out and race. The rack transponders and the whole bit. And I was trying to think of the last time that a manufacturer was making a car that you could do that with, and it would be in that rough time period, right? I mean, it's been 20 years since on-roads had like an RTR car that you can just, throw down and race with. I mean, is it the most
fun with? Yeah.
Yeah, and are they the most performant things in the world? No, but I mean, the guy that's just kind of getting started into it, or the father son duo, like you guys mentioned, like they don't need performance. They need, they need reliability. They need something that they understand. Yeah, so like
You need the fun factor and the memory builder that brings it back.
Exactly. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, like I started racing with my dad, and we've got a few, father son duos that have kind of started up here recently, and like that's really nice to see. And that's I think
it was the Losi NASCARs that brought him in.
Yeah, it was the Losi NASCARs. Yeah, we've got a really supportive hobby shop here, Ultra RC Hobbies in Saskatoon here that really they do a lot of work for us as far as like promoting racing when that isn't always the thing that makes the money, right? Like they're a brick and mortar hobby store, so like what makes the money? It's the Traxxas, it's the Arma, it's the it's that kind of stuff. But the owner has such a massive passion for racing that it's almost sometimes to the detriment of the stuff that makes him money. He'll promote racing, and he'll make sure people get out to the track, which is like it's so helpful, and he probably doesn't realize how much it helps, but like it's absolutely massive.
What do you guys think? Like I tried to do that on road on Saturdays and oval on Sundays. I tried that for a while, and I was ready to quit. Right, I was so frustrated.
I've never been a fan of that personally. Yeah. Because if you've got a bunch of people out to a track, you kind of, at least in my mind, you kind of want them to see a bit more of a full spectrum, right? So like we'll run, and our track's real tiny for this, but we'll run NASCAR and modified touring car on the same day, because it's like, hey, you guys are just getting started, but like if these look cool, well, hey, there's stock touring car, or we run a sportsman class, so that drivers don't necessarily feel quite as intimidated by some of the guys that have been doing it for 20, 30
you give them a goal and a tier to
you give them it's like a carrot, right?
Like a step ladder.
You give them something.
Whoever said that, yes.
Yeah, a lot of our NASCAR guys have gone on to GT12 or VTA or Tamiya classes from NASCAR. And one of the things about NASCAR that was great is bringing kids in. It seems like that is the only class that is bringing kids into on-road.
And that's what you need is the drivers.
If you don't have a younger generation, there's no future for this hobby.
And that car should remain out of the box, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't want to hear anything, right? And Casey, you probably know. Again, 20-something years ago, there was a track up here called Fast Cats. He was way above the future of that place. It was amazing. At one point, at a club race, there was 40 minis, Coopers, Tamiya minis, 40. Anytime you showed up, there's 40 of the guy. Everyone had one. Until they started letting the 13.5 motors, they started making fat. The guys had $1,000 minis.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you've seen it decline. Now there's not one to be found.
Yeah.
So
I saw Bob Stormer in
just
in
run the
chat,
thing out of the
actually.
box. That's it.
So I actually want to pose a question to all the track guys that are on here. What we do at Windsor is kind of probably a little bit different than everybody else, but what we do at Windsor, even though we're a permanent facility, I go there every week to change the layout. So every week, every race day is a different layout to the guys. I mean, it helps that I have to tear it down to put out the oval anyways, but how often do you guys run a different layout at your facility? And does that help bring people in because it's always different, or are the fast guys going to be the fast guys regardless?
Mike does it what, once a month usually, right?
Yeah,
something like that. But we have that same problem where some guys don't come because they actually say, well, that guy's on the track all the time. I can't get there all the time, so he has an advantage, blah, blah, blah. It's just, but again, you're right. The fast guy is always going to be the fast guy. You're going to, the problem I find in this hobby now is that nobody wants to be like in the G main and work their way up and even it takes a year to get to the next main, a year. Now they just, if they're not an A main, they find some other thing to race, or they run a mini Z now or some other goddamn thing. As long as they're on top and feel important. That's
I don't know. I've been 30 plus years in that B main, so that's fine.
Are we mostly just for so I can put things together in my brain? We're pretty much all on-road carpet here, guys, right?
Yes.
I do carpet off road as well.
Carpet off-road.
Mike did
On road and carpet off road.
What do you guys think
carpet off road
to the group? I mean, we've all had that thought. Hey, if we win the lottery, here's what I would do with the facility and what it looks like. You have. Don't shake your head.
This is a totally new idea.
What are you talking about? My wife takes all my money.
What class or what form of racing do you think is most complementary to carpet on road that would spur a good base for each, but then have some crossover?
Carpet on road is tough, I think, because the problem is like we're so particular about surface.
Oh yeah.
So like,
we run splits at off road at my place, so we don't damage the carpet for the on road noble guys.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's tough. Honestly, I think oval probably has the biggest crossover. Because the cars, in some respects, you can run similar classes. You can run like a pan car style, foam tires, low slung. You can run that stuff. Whereas like, carpet off-road, it's rough because like either the same carpet doesn't really work for both. The CRC fast track stuff is as good as it is, it doesn't hold up great to carpet off-road, and the office carpet does, but you can't really with modern cars run the office style carpet and run carpet on-road. Like guys won't come out. Yeah,
there's a track actually that had that directional office carpet, and as you would go down the straightaway, your car would catch the grooves back and forth.
Wanders, yeah.
You sort of got used to it. What about
I wouldn't say that there's one specific class that caters, because for us, NASCAR is kind of big everywhere, but like this guy is 3 hours down the road from me, and he'll get 3 or 4 heats of VTA and no USGT cars. We get no VTA cars, and our biggest class is USGT most of the time. So like, there's no real set answer for what can fix a track, other than just getting body through the window. Yeah.
I've noticed Ontario actually more than a lot of other places seems to kind of have that thing going on, where like there's like a track where you go and race 12 scale, and a track where you go and race touring car, and a track where you go and race like sort of the more hobby, like Mini Cooper, like that kind of stuff. Like it's very
divided. There's something I could ask you guys too on behalf of Mike. So say a group of guys, or they come to him and say, okay, we want to off road. We'll pack this place. If you did a carpet off road racing weekly, blah blah blah, we're gonna pack this place. Mike, you don't understand. So Mike, he does. I give him credit for that. He will make these jumps. He made everything. You need to ask Max. Well beyond, and 4 guys showed up. Then the next week 3. Then the next week 6. Then the next week 3. Then 2. And this went on for a couple months. Then he's just like, why am I even doing this? Where are all these people? Oh, we told the guys to come, and now they want it on this day. They'd all come out if you ran it on Saturday. They all come out if you ran it on Friday. Is it right? And it's just,
it's tough.
I feel lost for him on all.
Oh, he froze there.
Oh, he froze.
Yeah, he froze.
He got too angry.
Yeah, I just want a place. We want a place to survive. But where, how long would you guys give a chance? I'm just saying an aspect. If they came to your track, somebody and said, we want to do this, and we're gonna bring like 30 guys will be here every night.
So when we were actually a temporary track where we were rolling out and rolling up, kind of what Saskatoon used to do, we actually tried that. But we basically put a group of guys in charge of it and said, look, if you guys want to do this, you guys have to do it. But like, we're not going to build the jumps until you guys get the base. They tried it for a couple weeks. They said it doesn't seem to be wanting to take off. and we just scrapped it. We get guys asking all the time, "Are you going to run carpet off-road? Are you going to run carpet off-road?" We'll cater to it, but we haven't seen it in the past. Like right now, when the winter comes, when the fall comes, we don't worry as much about the bills. We still worry about them, but we don't worry as much about them. But when the summer comes and you get just a handful of guys walking through the door and everybody's like, "Hey, where is everyone?" I can only play in the races. I can't make them come.
Yeah. There's a certain amount of psychology that goes into it because each track owner is inherently a leader, right? In a leadership position. And then folks will challenge the leadership. Folks will make suggestions to leadership to try to bend things to their will. And then being a track owner, you have to be strong. You have to be thick-skinned, and you have to keep some basic metrics kind of like in line to make sure that the doors stay open. I do it selfishly, so I have a place to race in the winter, and I've got a large group of friends and race friends that benefit from that and join me in that fun. But I also, some of those friends will actually come up to me and make some suggestions, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to work for the larger group. And they'll be mad at me for a few weeks, and it's okay, right? If they're mad at me for a few weeks,
They'll get over it.
I've got close to 200 employees now, and I know I piss at least 30% off daily, so I'm used to it. But that's one of the fears that I would have starting a full-time track, because you guys that have the full-time tracks that are there 5 days a week and on the weekends and year round, that's a nut that you have to pay, and you have to tell yourself, I'm secure in paying that. That's a level of fear that I don't experience because I only take those 6 month bites.
That's probably why you have less gray hair than all of us.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
No, so I'm wearing my hat made by one of my racers. That's 180 Raceway.
Beautiful.
He actually put into the chat that he's going to throw me $20 if I say a phrase. The
To
phrase,
all of us? Well, I'll say it.
To everyone. I have to say the phrase to everyone. I am a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but he's going to give me $20 if I say I am a Ravens fan. So give me my $20. I expect to see it and pay.
To your point, actually, Casey, about the whole being a leader and having to deal with a little bit of the noise and stuff. Going back to the whole low-C NASCAR thing, and people brought up Mini Coopers before. I think that's such a big part of keeping those classes. I don't know what the best way to describe it, but innocent, almost. You gotta keep them innocent.
That's a terrific term, true to form, innocent.
Yeah. And I started saying before, I think I saw Bob in the Facebook chat there. I can still remember being a kid and Bob and Randon and some of those dudes from down there, all coming up and they would run, they'd run their super serious classes. They'd run the 12 scale, we still had a Pro 10 class back then. They'd run Pro 10, and then they'd go out with their minis. And when they went out with their minis,
it's fun.
They walked on the stand with a giant grin on their face, and they left the stand with a giant grin on their face. Bob finished races with 3 wheels. Randon was driving in reverse for half the race. Obviously it was they were taking the piss a little bit, but it was it was fun. Fun was first, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's this is a racing class, but we're not trying to make we're not trying to turn a Corolla into a sports car. This is what it is, and we're gonna let it be what it is, and ride on that success, right?
To your point, with our race season, I've got different themed events throughout the year. We've got a memorial race to remember guys that have passed away and family members that have passed away. So that's kind of a somber remembrance kind of race. And then Winter Warrior is all out for the mega classes, the roar based fast classes. Come out and see where you stack up. The water is deep. Good luck. Here's a life preserver. Here's some Band-Aids if you get cut, right? And we talk all that smack.
You got butthurt forms?
Yeah.
Oh, you know
exactly.
what? Wait. What did we used to have? Oh,
You have those ducks,
well,
right?
I can't. No, that's a little too much for the audience. Audiences. But then our next race is a completely different theme. It's called Slowbirds. It's the Tamiya classes. It's the Euro trucks. It's a class that I made up last year, where those wagon bodies that you put
I
on.
saw that. I thought that was the coolest thing
Dude,
ever.
stupid idea, right? I was having that conversation with a racer from up at Jackson. I was like, you know what we should do? I would like a station wagon class. He's like, dude, I can get those bodies. I'm like, let's do it. Let's announce it. Everyone at once on the track. Those classes, super fun. We're having a blast, and we got a DJ playing music the whole time. It's tremendous. Then we shift gears again towards a different focus, and then everyone ramps up towards that focus for Tamiya, TCS. And then there are in the season races, the neighborhood nationals, right? If you're the fast guy in your neighborhood, come try my neighborhood, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
how much kind of cross talk do you see between like those different little kind of ink pots of racing?
a lot, because a lot of us dip, not that I don't want to say that we dip down into those fun classes, the funster classes, but we do kind of dip down, and then we try to elevate those guys who are taking those classes seriously. Hey, here's what I do to keep my wagon from getting so tippy. I stand my shocks up all the way out. Then you're going to be able to carry your speed, because the top of the body's so heavy, it's going to make your traction roll. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I just gave away my speed secret for that.
I actually did want to pose a question to you guys. Sorry to kind of take this over here. How do you guys deal with people talking negative online for you guys?
I have an example. I had a guy.
I figured you might, but I figured other
no.
people
I
might
had a
too.
guy that came from I had a guy that had some beef with another guy that came from out of town to our track, and then online it continued, and it ended up showing our track in a negative light. So all I did, nobody's better than me, and I'm not better than anyone else. I found someone, I got his phone number, I made a call. I was like, dude, here's the situation, here's why, here's what's going on. I'd really request that you take that post down. It would mean a lot to me if you did. So I try to attack them with kindness a little bit, but then everyone tends to know that if you don't bring positivity to the group, to the collective, that you will be voted off the island somehow, some way, eventually. I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump in, but that situation still pisses me off.
That's
Hey, well,
it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I know that.
Our biggest issue at Rosecity type thing is there's so, and Brandon knows that, how many tracks there are around our area type thing, or they pop up, or whether they're permanent, not permanent, or what I noticed is that, again, back with Mike, I don't know how you deal with, I'll ask you just Casey that, because you're a big track, right? Is that, you mentioned that, Mike's the type that he'll tell somebody no about something. Well, what happens is now that guy takes his car and he goes and races at the other place. Just that easy. So it's terrible how he cannot say one thing if someone says, you guys should do this or you should do that. He says, oh, it's already done or done that, this and that. That's it. That guy didn't like something. Or an old story too is just that as a joke, I'm used to busting balls, and I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
Some guys can't take it. You realize that. But this gentleman flew off the track. Another guy in the stand actually said to him, oh, geez, I thought you'd be better after all these years. That guy's never come back. And it's a joke.
I actually had that comment said to myself once.
Well, we soften everyone up when they come to our track. So we're like, hey, if we're talking smack and shit about you, it's because we like you.
Well, we
just throw that out there immediately for whoever's coming to the track. Yeah. And those who are impacted, so as you were mentioning, and and they internalize the hobby that much to where they just want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See ya.
You're invited back. The door is open, but okay.
It's just been very interesting these last years in this hobby on how.
Yeah, but it's hard to say okay when you write out your rent check and you're like, I got $7 left in the account.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's hard. That's why I'm appreciative to, like Osmatics USA that helps us get that startup period every 6 months. It's huge for us.
Yeah.
I think for us, we have drama like any other club or clubs
Yep.
have,
Everyone
but we
does.
don't really have any negativity that I can think of. Everyone is usually pretty positive. I mean, maybe back in the day there was some negativity between series that we would run. A set number of people would run a certain series and some would run a different series, and they would say whatever, have a perception. But for the most part, I think that's pretty much gone now. It's at least in our area, everyone for the most part gets along. There's still that. I think that the big thing is there's that middle line between the serious racer and then the guy that wants to come out casually, right? The guy that comes out casually and wants to run whatever he wants to run, looks at us and goes, "What are you doing?" Right? Like, why are you spending so much time working or trying or testing or whatever? So they might not get it, but they're just not as competitive. And that's kind of the only thing that I kind of see going on. And I simply, like you said, I kind of just say, well, come out, try it, right? I mean, come out and race us, and if you really want to improve, then you're going to figure it out pretty quick. Ask us for help, we'll help you, and we kind of go along like those lines, right? I like to nicely educate people if the opportunity is there, right? So I don't think any of us we have a love of this hobby, right?
Yeah, what do you do, buddy, when and Max has been through this because he's at the Rose a lot, where we just follow rules, right?
Yeah.
Easy. Well, some guys come from another place, and that place doesn't really have rules. So now that gentleman shows up and he goes, "Well, I got this motor, I'm going to run it." To me, I'm just like, "Well, run it." You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. And then some other gentleman that's a racer goes, "Well, wait a minute. If he can run that Trinity motor that's been banned for 2 years, why am I going to run mine?" Right? And it just goes. And
It's a snowball effect.
It devolves quickly.
And now that guy's.
I think
told me you have too many rules. I said, "There's not too many rules at Rose City. It's just following what is rules."
Yeah, you have to set a guideline. I mean, for BC, for the most part, we're all on the same page, and we work very hard behind the scenes to try to do that and accomplish that. Like I said, the clubs that we race with in BC are fantastic. Danny might be able to speak better to that because he's in between provinces, and Alberta, in certain classes and clubs, they do have their own rule set, and then so Danny has to run roar rules, which we mostly run in BC, and then when he goes to Alberta, he has to run whatever rule that club has. So he'd be able to answer that question.
Does Danny still have snow? That's my question for Danny.
Probably.
No, it's been gone for a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually
almost.
up in northern Saskatchewan right now, so that's no word of a lie. I think the last.
Hey, are you guys
only
seceding
like 3
from the
weeks ago.
Canadian Union or something like that?
No, that's not. No, that's not. That's not.
What
us.
province is that?
That's
Alberta.
next door. That's our neighbors. That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's the folks that Korgae was talking about, liking to do things a little bit differently.
They just do everything different, huh?
Yeah.
So-
I mean,
There's
it's not wrong. I mean, they're like what we kind of talked about earlier. They're listening to what the racers want, and they're just providing that as structure. It just and it is what it is, right? So, like I said, I think the BC racers we have enough clubs that we kind of have throughout our season. There's enough large races to kind of keep us occupied and busy. But Danny, goes to Alberta more so, right, for that. But the mix between, I guess, Montana or Billings, his own province, which is really his own club, I think, and Regina maybe, and then Alberta, right? So so he could speak more to that. But like in BC, we try to be on the same page as all of our clubs.
We at Windsor, we try to maintain rule set that a lot of the tracks nearby us run. So like if they race at our track and then they go run at Rosecity, or they go down to Michigan to run, or they go to Cleveland for a big race, they're not very far out of left field when it comes to setup and stuff like that. We always try to cater to that. Do we get the people that always want to push the rules? What track doesn't? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then you get the guys, well, I want to run this. Well, I want to run this. Well, I mean, our rule set is like this big. You can't follow 5 simple rules. Like, How badly do you want that trophy?
Set up a separate heat for them and say, all right, go race with yourself and everyone will watch you. If you tap one board, we're going to laugh at you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay. I'll race
cheer
with them.
and cheer and- yeah, that's
I think-
interesting. You kind of mentioned it's a bit geographical because, like Korgae was mentioning, so like we're in a small population market. Like I think Saskatoon area, there's like maybe 300,000 people.
Or-
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, so Regina's the next closest city, and it's I think 250,000. And they've got a small club and a small track there. It's gotten smaller, I think, in recent years, and kind of COVID hurt them pretty hard. But and then the next closest track is 5.5 hours driving to Edmonton in Alberta. So, unless we host our own races, which like in Saskatchewan, we typically kind of follow the Roar standard rules as well. But for us to kind of go where the bulk of the easier access racing is, it's a 5-hour drive and it's a different rule set and it's a different, so it's like, it's tough when the geography it kind of hurts you a little bit because Edmonton tends to run what Calgary runs but then there's the mountains in the way, so then BC kind of does their thing, but that's the same as us, but they're like a 10-hour drive away for us, and so it gets a little weird.
I have a question for you guys because a few times it's come up in the chat. Some people are interested in starting their own track and hobby shop and combination. If you guys all have done it, you guys done it successfully, what input or what tips or tricks would you guys have to someone looking to start their own facility wherever they may be?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding.
No. I would say, Max, right? I'd always say now, find that location. And again, it doesn't matter. We just found that out in this area. Even when we were inside the mall with that track, everybody says that it'd be better if it's in this area. It's hidden somewhere. You got to find the cheapest rent you can. And to me, now realizing it's about, if you have a track size by 40, something by 80, the pitting is, you always think that you need more pitting. The problem is you might fill that pit spot, right? The 80, 100 pit spots maybe once a year. So stop paying all that rent for square footage. If you have 20, 30 spots, that's plenty. That's just my opinion now. And it doesn't really matter. They'll find where the track is. All the McDonald's and everything else nearby or whatever, and you could walk there. It doesn't make a difference whether they show or not. You got to keep that rent. You got to keep that rent as cheap as possible, and that's it.
And if people really want to do it, they'll still come out regardless of a lot of different factors.
You got it, Dan. And that object I could ask you guys, I always thought, what is it, like the movie Build It and They Will Come? RC Racing for the 40, it's build it and they might show up. I told them, you said it the best about right? If I won money, yes, I would build the Hootie Arena over here to a T, exactly the same, but I know I'm going to get it. It'll be 30 guys showing up.
Then you'll have 15 guys show up.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be less for some reason. You made it too big. Had to walk to the track.
What I would suggest to somebody if they wanted to do this is be prepared to weather whatever comes at you. Have an open mind about it, because to be flat out honest, you're never going to have the right answer and you're always going to have the wrong answer. And you might want to go to the gym because you're going to have big shoulders to lift the heavy weight. It sucks to say it, but like the track owners that are probably on this chat and the ones listening and the ones that are commenting, they all know the struggles that we're all going through. It's 5 guys on a race say, hey, you know what? We got 5 of you. Let's just race them. It sucks to say it, but like sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. All right, we'll do 5 rounds of qualified mains. Everybody gets to go home, and they said they had a race day.
I went through that last night. 5 guys showed up to race. That was it. We still raced. We ran 4 classes with 5 guys.
Huh?
That's awesome.
How does that math work?
It was 12 entries total with 5 guys. So, people own more than one car. Come on.
Well, that I know, but who's marshaling the different races?
No marshals.
It worked out that we had 2 marshals for each heat. So
no marshals, don't crash.
The guy announcing,
which made it even better. So
I think to be a successful track, whoever can figure out how to bring the kids in, you're going to be successful.
Bingo.
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
you guys found anything?
Well,
Unfortunately, I've been in this
we have
hobby
a
a
big
long.
group of kids, honestly, in ours. It helps that our biggest classes are NASCAR and VTA. Pretty cheap entry points, you know. The big thing with NASCAR is we make you run it box stock. Like that's what killed Euro Truck back in the day. Was it was box stock to begin with, and then everyone started screwing with it, and they started handling like touring cars.
Not to cut you off, but let me ask you, how do you manage to keep it box stock?
You can. I mean, I drive them. Like I'll drive somebody's, and you'll know right away if there's something done to it. I mean, we do allow you to put oil in it because they come no oil in the shocks, but that's it. And honestly, like most of our guys, you can hear the squishing of there's no oil in the shocks. They just run it. Everyone has a blast. And then they graduate up to VTA. Most of the guys that run NASCAR run VTA with us also. I mean, we're averaging 18 to 22 VTAs and NASCARs a club race.
That's awesome.
And then they'll migrate to like LMH and 25.5 and 21.5 TC and work their way.
Really?
Up.
They don't. Our club, our smallest class is 12 scale by far. Touring cars, very small. USGT's pretty big. VTA's massive. And NASCAR is massive. Wow. It's all the little funster classes, and that's what the kids like, and that's what they drive.
And that's what pays the bills because there's no sponsored low-C Horizon drivers out there running NASCAR.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I do have a question about cost, but I'm going to let Korgae say something because he's been trying for a bit.
Okay, no. Well, I just wanted to comment on two things. I kind of think as far as advice on owning a track, I think you kind of have to, read the room, so to speak, look at your market. If there's no demand for it, then the best thing to do is really invest your time into the clubs and try to build the clubs rather than saturate the market. So get involved and do the best you can. Contribute your skills to those clubs to try to grow the community first.
Volunteer.
That's what I kind of think. And then second to that is I think entry level classes are super important. We don't use the low C NASCARs as of yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about them. We do have a Euro Truck class, which seems to always bring out, smiles and laughs. And I mean, when those get on the track, it just takes everything down a notch. So that's been good for us. Everyone kind of has one. They're cheap. And it's just good fun, right? I don't particularly like the rule set because, people want to follow TCS, which is very limiting. But what do you do, right? I mean, other than if you want to create your own rules, it'd almost be nice if there was something like, some simple rules to open them up a little bit, not so much for performance, but more maybe even availability. Right now, it's hard to get truck bodies for whatever reason. Like, it's just like, I don't know if it's a shortage by Tamiya or what. There's some aftermarket truck bodies that look similar, and are cheaper and more readily available. So it'd be nice to have something like that available, but again, what rule set, where do you draw the lines, right? It's just the bigger thing too. The second point to that for the on-road clubs this year, more so than ever, is what do you guys think about how Roar is handling the current body roll? I mean, to me, I think it's just going to be a nightmare this year because there's so many new bodies on the market, and that's one thing I hear from my guys is that bodies aren't cheap anymore. Right. And there's just so much performance to be gained, right? Or even tested, right?
Absolutely.
They've put a pause on approving new bodies for a while.
Right. But I think honestly, and I have a pretty big opinion about this, so I'm just going to jump in. But one of the biggest problems to try to get people at least into like touring car and tall scale racing, like the more performant classes, is the fact that we're running these 0.4 millimeter it's basically saran wrap over the top of your chassis.
Sucks to paint them too.
Yeah, they're hard to paint, so you end up with the PS03 one color wonders. And
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm no better, dude. I'm PS33. If I have to paint my own shells, they're PS33 cherry red. So that, and part of it's because you spend however much money on this body shell, and then the moment you touch it wrong with a knife. The first time you smack something, your hood peels open or whatever, right? Like that's such a huge thing, and bodies back, even 10 years ago weren't the consumables that they are now, and they were cheaper then. I mean, the cost of everything has gone up. And not to distract from the body discussion, because I think it's super good, but I was actually kind of just thinking a question to the group. We've been talking a lot about like how much we all like, the low-C NASCARs and the Mini Coopers and like the Euro trucks and stuff like that, which are all cheap classes to get into and run. How have you guys been trying to get people to bridge the gap from stuff like that, where they can walk into their hobby shop and spend, $200-$300 on a NASCAR, to, okay, guys, here, the next step is you go and buy a full bird touring car chassis for $800 to $1,200 or whatever it is, plus then another, $200 speed control and another $150 motor. And, oh, by the way, the radio system's another $500. And I mean, obviously you can buy used and you can be a bit scrappy with it. But that stuff kind of has to exist. And I guess I'm curious, like, what it's like in other regions. Cause I know that's a big thing here. The big gap between kind of the starter classes and then the more racy classes that, we sort of, not that we push people towards them, but that we tend to see
the migration to
the diehard people. Yeah. The more diehard people kind of.
So in Windsor, we've only seen maybe about a handful of guys kind of go from NASCAR to something else. But we kind of, if you look at the classes that we offer, we have like NASCAR, which is box stock. Then we have like GT12, and we got 17.512 scale. We got USGT, and we got touring car. Like, we have kind of stepping classes. I mean, whenever I talk to somebody, I always try to tell them, like, hey, like, if you're looking to try something, first come see it before you go spending the money on something that you may not want to spend the money on. But, like, come to the track and talk to people. Because I don't know what it's like at everybody else's facility, but RC people, they love to sell stuff. So if you can find somebody at the track that just happens to have a touring car for sale or a Formula One car or something, usually you can get a pretty smoking deal on it. And a lot of that time will also kind of have them come back with well, they're going to come back and race with it. But I think you need more kind of stepping, like ways of stepping up to different classes. I don't think anybody's going to jump from NASCAR and go be a mod 12 scale driver by any stretch of the imagination. But like, if you have that stepping up where it's like GT12, 12 scale super stock or whatever it is, then you have that progression where they can kind of get their feet wet and work their way up. But it's also trying to entice them that, you know what, if you're lapping guys in a box stock NASCAR class by 5 laps, it might be time to kind of move up.
Yeah, we do something similar down here in Maryland. And I'm a big Tamiya guy, so it's our TCS folks. I like to get them entry level into the Tamiya classes, and then once you recognize talent that this person, this young kid might have some talent, then you just ask them to come and watch the races. People who blindly just send me messages offline, online and say, hey, how do we get into racing? I tell them to come by and watch. Then when they get here, I'm like, look to see in which classes that you like, and then pick your favorite driver and for, a race day, and then start to think about which direction do you want to go. But they usually start out in those, novice and spec classes, Euro truck classes, and then those with aptitude start to work their ways up. The guys at our track are very good at embracing and helping folks. Like, hey, great job, you did really well. If you need any help, let me know. And we try to talk some of our guys into, like, even when I'm at the outdoor races at our a track that we support in the summertime called White Rose. All the used tires, all the guys will bring the used tires to my pit. And then when we've got kids and people walk up, I'll just hand them used tires. I'm like, hey, these are the tires that we run on these cars out here. Aren't they cool? And then I'll tell them, hey, go into the hobby shop and tell them that Casey said you get 10% off if you buy a car. And sure enough, some people come out and their dads are buying them, car kits and ready to runs. And, it's the HPI street stockers or something like that, or street specs.
Right.
I'm not familiar with HPI stuff too much, but they'll come out with that stuff. Or, that's how we try to get guys interested.
I kind of commend Schumacher. They just came out with, and maybe Korgae can help me with this. They just came out with kind of a baseline-ish touring car.
The Vibe.
Express
the
did
Vibe.
something similar too. Yeah.
Mhm.
But like, I think more companies could benefit from having a car that may not cost as much. Like, you don't have to go buy an X-Ray. You don't have to go buy an Awesomatics. You can go buy an Express car or like the lower end Schumacher and still come out and still be competitive. I think everybody sees guys running these $2,000 chassis and think, well, the only way I'm going to be competitive is if I have that. But I think you need to kind of have that bridged gap of something that doesn't cost as much to help facilitate that jump.
It goes back to what you were saying 20 years ago when you had racing companies making a ready-to-run version of their touring car. But
Yeah, again, back to 20 years ago.
And I mean, that needs to come back.
Yes.
So I think we're all track.
For on-road is NASCAR. As much as we keep beating on NASCAR, it's the only realistic ready-to-run option for on-road.
So we've got a collection of track owners here, right? We've all got relationships with the manufacturers at some point, right? All of us here have a relationship with manufacturers that we could cover them all. X-Ray, Awesomatics, Tamiya, Express, Schumacher, Mugen, right? Who did I miss?
Destiny.
Destiny. Oh yeah. All I got to do is call Dumper and call Max, right? And say, hey, what would you guys call it? Call it sportsman touring or something like that, where it's a fiberglass chassis car or something.
So I'll cut in there for a second. So the Schumacher Vibe platform, when they just came out with the new touring car and now the front wheel drive, I asked them, I said, what does this really appeal to? Because I'll be honest, at the time I didn't really see a market for it, right? Like, to me, the cars are vastly cheaper, but they're completely different than the top level cars. And how Schumacher explained it to me was they're called club cars. So that over in Europe, there's this huge segment, and maybe talking just now, this is what we need.
Like club racer.
Of guys that want to race touring cars or front wheel drive cars. They don't want to spend the money, and they really don't care if they're at the sharp end of the A main. They just want to go out, race, have fun. Doesn't matter if it's in the D main, C main, or bottom of the A main. They just want to have a car that they can tune, run, buy parts for, and have fun with. And that's why it comes in at that price point. I mean, lots of comments have jumped up saying, the Vibe is awesome, blah, 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 right? So, maybe now, so more than ever, that's what our market needs. And to speak of that, I'm also involved in, just as another hobby, tournament boats, wake surfing, that kind of stuff. And those boats are super crazy, super expensive right now. And all the manufacturers have now offered a second tier boat. It's basically a stripped down boat of their top end model. And those things are outselling everything. It's insane. So I was just kind of putting the two to do together while we were chatting about this. And maybe that's the recipe that we need right now, is to enter, not diversify and throw a different body on the car and call it a different class. But maybe we just need to bring in cheaper, cars to get to the masses at a certain price point, right? I mean, someone might have said. So
where would that start? Would that start with a 25.5? Call it one of those style of like an express chassis, Schumacher chassis, whatever it is. Get the manufacturers on board, a 25.5 motor, and say this is our club spec. Yeah, something like that. Like just as the bridge class.
Yeah, Exactly.
Or
And maybe
class-
just try to
class-
determine a
class-
new market that doesn't care if they
Yeah.
win, but just wants to go out and have fun and race.
We actually
Yes,
have
Dan,
somebody.
I see your message down there. Yes, we will have sandbaggers, and at our track, we call out sandbaggers, we point at them and make fun of them.
We actually have somebody at our facility, and he actually runs the Express chassis. He has two of them actually, and he's a regular in the A main. So it kind of goes to show you that it doesn't necessarily need to be the best of the best. It can be a $300 chassis that the guy just knows how to drive it and tune it. So I think it needs to be also shown that you don't need to go spend that kind of money. Like the gentleman that was, sorry, I'm terrible with names, but the gentleman from Saskatoon there that was saying that you don't need to, that you don't need to,
gentleman from Saskatoon.
that you don't need to, like he was saying, well, then the guy goes to go in the hobby shop and spend $800 on a car and $200 on an ESC and $500 on a radio. What if that option was, well, look, you can do that if you want, or there's this other option where you can spend $300 on a car, $80 on an ESC. You can buy a little bit of a cheaper radio and kind of have them like show them like, hey, like there is an option where if you work with it, you can become a better driver, but like you don't need to spend that kind of money.
And on the on-road side, like that's so needed. Like, I mean, you look at any big track, like maybe some of them are different, but I think you can paint with a fairly broad brush and say that like touring car, at least in North America, is kind of it's a bread and butter class, or like touring car based
Four-wheel drive sedan based car.
Four-wheel drive sedan.
Started by Tamiya with the TA01.
Oh, here he goes again.
Actually, brought him on for the plugs.
History lesson.
We actually have a club.
To
We
me,
have
Tom
a club
would,
down in Richmond.
to me, Tom would love him so much.
Overgear that's running a TT02 class, and it's like it's taking
big.
off. It's phenomenal down there.
It's
great.
Yeah, it's getting big.
Yeah.
But like you guys were saying, it has to be for the new guys and stuff. So when I get involved and I hear people say that, you know, you watch somebody come all in and go crazy, or somebody gets out of the hobby and they say the hobby's just too expensive. I always look at everybody's table, and everyone's got 3-4 cars on their table. So the hobby still is not that expensive. You got 4 X-Rays or 4 Awesomatics car on your table. So we're talking about getting new people in and running this class. And the problem is like you said, I love calling people sandbaggers. There's one gentleman I always bring up, and but I can't say his name.
Not now.
That guy would run that class, no problem, right?
What,
I
what,
think they would run the class
Anyway.
and we would make fun of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually saw
sorry.
some. Go ahead.
Sorry, just to finish what I was saying. So I guess my thought on this is like as good as NASCAR is and as many good things as we've said about NASCAR, that car lives and dies in that class. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas before you could take the TC4, the Triple XS, the old like the RTR stuff, and you could bolt in a different motor, go run a different class. Right. It was a starter car. I mean the touring car craze. Right. That's what made touring car what it is now. Right. That's what built that class.
I saw somebody comment below, and I thought it was kind of a cool point that maybe some hobby shop people can kind of grasp on, was have a package. Look, here's your chassis, here's the Eurus GT motor, here's your body, here's your ESC that can go with it. It costs X, whatever it is, and then they can decide whatever radio they want. But like, what if we did something like that where, look, your package is all set. You got to put it together, but this is what you want. Is that something that you think would be more beneficial, or is that kind of driving people to a class that maybe they don't want?
I think there lies your problem. You have to put it together.
Yeah.
Kids
What if you
nowadays
pull
just
this
want the instant gratification. They want an RTR. Put it on the track. They don't want to build it. I think
There's
that's
a lot of
part of the appeal of
there's a
NASCAR.
lot of
is
off-road RTRs, right? Is there a lot of I think like off-road and crawling. I think that I always see RTR on the shelf with tracks as an axial, an Arma.
The Slash was huge
Slash.
for electric off-road. Right. I mean, you look like 2008, 2009, 2010, like a lot of even these newer kind of indoor dirt facilities. When did they fire up? Around that time, because people were started going out and buying trophy trucks. Right. And I guess other than the relatively good point that Justin made about like people not necessarily wanting to put together kits. I think, and Schumacher's doing a fantastic thing from what I can tell from with the Vibe platform, both the TC and the FT. But right now with FlySky, you have a competition level radio system that's relatively inexpensive. Hobbywing has a fantastic. They have their Just Stock system. They've had it for a while. That's relatively inexpensive. You know, servos, cheap servos are better than they've ever been. You can go into a hobby store and buy a perfectly cromulent servo for like, you know, $50 US, and it's not going to blow up on you in 3 heats. And honestly, I think, and you know, even batteries, right? I mean, we're not that many years removed from, you know, hard case lipos being weird, but now, I mean, you go on Amazon, you buy a 2-pack for $40 or whatever. And, you know, we don't have necessarily all the approvals and stuff. And so that gets a little weird, but the fact of the matter is they're coming out of the same factory. And I guess as a track owner, you kind of have to take that risk if you're doing it. But, the thing that's missing is the choice of chassis, right? Because, you know, not every hobby store is going to be able to stock Schumacher or Express or whatever.
They all have their different distribution deals.
Exactly, right? And I mean, like, one brand you forgot to mention, you know, is Associated. And I mean, as far as a competition level touring car platform, they're coming in all pretty low as far as price point goes in the market. There's really only like one other car that's around the same price point, but still yet the Vibe and that the I forget what the model name is, but it's Express XQ whatever series of numbers.
XQR3 or something.
Yeah. Those are your two choices with respect to like kind of a fiberglass style car. And Express is not a big brand in North America. There's not a lot of, they don't have distribution here really, as far as I'm aware.
They've got East Coast distribution with Interstate.
Do they now? Okay, cool. No, that's good to know. There was a fellow out in Vancouver that was starting to bring a few things in, but I think it kind of petered out for him during COVID.
So do those guys? I don't know if Express has a ready to run. Is that what are we saying that it should be ready to run, or are we saying that they're?
I think for it to be a true beginner class and get new people in, it has to be pull it out of the box, put it on the track, and go race.
So we would want to challenge the manufacturers to be like, hey, you know, Losi sold out for a reason. Horizon bought them from a reason. Horizon got licensing and then monetized that reason. And now look at the market share that they're gaining with the entry level.
Hey, Case, can a TTO2 work then? Or TTO?
Could. TTO2s are big in our area. They're big as the beginner class. And someone was
Still have
saying
to build them.
Someone was saying put together a package. So
not a ready to run?
There used to be a ready to run package called the XB series, Expert Build series. I think there's a pause on that. I'll have to check with Fred as far as importing here to the U.S. But the local hobby shop, to somebody's point, made a package, and I told them, hey, if you get the servos, get the radios, get the batteries, get the charger, and a whole little package, less than $500 for these folks, that might, you know, get them to enter, you know, into that series. So we've had some success with that at the outdoor track, not so much directly with my track because I don't do retail on site. I let all the online retailers feed off of our people, and they do, and that was strategically built that way. But I like the idea of that club spec racer for that either entry or bridge competitor that wants to get with his weekend warrior race buddies to say, hey, I've got a fiberglass chassis. If I break a chassis, okay, it's $12. It's not $150, right? You know.
What if Roar made a class for everybody? What if Roar came out and said you have to use, because we all use Roar rules. What if Roar said we had to use the Schumacher Atom chassis? You have to use a gravity USGT motor, and they made They
Well,
made
I'll
a
just-
kit that every.
I don't think Roar can specify manufacturers. That's where they got into
They can't
trouble.
spec
You
them.
can't.
They
Yeah,
can't
that's what
limit
happened with
motors. They can't do
But-
chassis either.
But they can
could
make a proposal to
they
Tim.
could make recommendations on a car kit. It has to be fiberglass. Has to retail for under whatever $300
it's the
or $400, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? They could do that.
I mean,
Okay.
Same
Okay.
as a
yeah,
motor.
you could get into like some sort of weird approval list too, but that's way more bureaucracy.
It would
than
be
I'm
a
ever willing to sign up for.
specification.
Well, some type
Yeah.
of governing body I meant that made a class for all of North America. That's
Yeah.
maybe not Roar, but someone else. So that if you have this kit, you can go. You know, I can go to 180. Okay, I can go to SARCAR. I can go to Michigan because they all have all these same. If we had some governing body made one set of rules, motors, so we can go any track.
For
You
that
guys all
beginning.
know Clayton, right? From Roar
Yep.
president. So Clayton
Know of them.
grew up-
Never met them.
Clayton grew up around our tracks. People sometimes confuse he and I since my name's Casey Young and his name's Clayton Young. We look similar. We're both strikingly handsome. But he's got some great ideas, and he is like a track owner as well, where he's got the track's best interest in mind, and he takes a lot of heat for a lot of different things, but he's open to ideas. So if we get him and Tim and folks like that together and share an idea that we've discussed here, and there's John in Cantalupo right there who just popped up, and he's the importer for Express for the East Coast.
Yeah.
But
we got Korgae right there. He would
Yeah.
be the man to help out the most with a Schumacher car,
with the Schumachers, yeah.
SMC battery.
But
I'm sure he can come
push-
up with some. He'd sell
push
it.
the
at
manufacturers to
Look
come
at his
up
smile.
with a homologous platform of what we're thinking about
Yeah.
and pressure them.
You
Right?
guys remember Street Spec back in the day?
Yep.
Yeah.
Street Spec?
But
three
that was-
manufacturers made
That
like
was someone
300
else
cars.
doing that with different goals in mind.
I mean, still, you had three manufacturers making a very similar spec hand car that was cost controlled.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
provide. I think this could be a terrific idea, like a club spec class. And if you've got several different manufacturers involved, and then they've got their big brother manufacturer, full blown race car, full blown X-ray, full blown Schumacher, full blown Express, full blown, help me, whoever else that we talked
Yeah.
about, Awesomatics and things like that.
Yeah.
So so that could. It's very interesting that
Now,
your conversation migrated to that point.
to add to that though, what would you say to people when, if this, let's say this came about where it's like a sportsman style, kind of a cheaper option? What do you say to those people that are like, oh, now you're watering it down too much by adding too many classes?
Some would say that. So you would have to take a serious look at your current turnout and see if it would apply for you, if it would work for you. Would it take away from another class? Do you eliminate another class and focus on that to build a deeper class? That's always a hard choice to make as well.
Yeah, I think I think that, I mean, I know we talked about a specific motor and stuff, but when 25.5 came up, I was thinking more that this would fit in the regular.
I got
touring car stock
one
class.
piece of advice for all you track owners. And our club is very, very good at this. We talked about bridging the gap from like NASCAR up to like 12 scale, touring car, something like that. We have people walking in all the time since our building's, public access. Almost every single person in our club will hand over a radio to a car to somebody just walking in, and they don't care if it gets like the crap beat out of it. I've handed over the controller to my mod touring car to somebody before. I mean,
You are braver
it's
than me.
just getting people in the door.
I mean,
It's
Mark
only
probably
parts. They sell more.
Yeah, they sell more.
Most of our guys do the same thing. We have
Mark can probably attest to this. I have too many cars, but I do the same thing. I did the count the other day. I got 11
Yeah.
cars sitting at the track right now. So if I hand my car over to somebody to let them drive it, go ahead. I'd rather see somebody try something and break it, and then I gotta fix it, whatever. But at least they tried it.
I have a TTO2 and a Euro truck that can do that, just to give people a taste of what's going on.
I got a few less parts for my
I've
Pro
handed
10,
over
but
like a VTA, a USGT car, let a kid race a whole weekend with it, It's like get somebody else, and I mean there's a few that, you never see them again, but there's a few that all of a sudden now they're buying stuff, you know?
Yeah. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't know what other facilities are like. We don't get as much of the public traffic as we used to. Granted, we're still fresh. We're only a few months into our tenure at our building, but we do get good traffic. We have a train club that is actually just down the hallway, so we get some of those guys coming in. We get other people that just happen to hear what's going on, and they come up and they see what's going on. But I do think that more people need to be more like that, where it's like, hey, you like what you see? You want to give it a try? Go ahead and give it a rip. The nice thing with the NASCAR, which I just found out the other day because I don't drive very often, is that switch on the back where you can turn it down a little bit. It's kind of nice that you can kind of dull it down a little bit right on the fly. I think that's kind of cool. I didn't know it did that.
Until it gets switched by mistake.
Yeah, but I drove a whole qualifier and a half at 50%, and then somebody's like, "Did you not turn it up?" I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I didn't know.
The last question, I know it's been an amazing conversation. I'm sure we can sit here for all night long.
One thing that our club, we've had this last year, we had definitely an increase in 12 scale because foam tire 12 scale was almost dead. But same thing, I just handed my car over to some guys. They went and drove it, and they're like, "Wow, this handles good." It's like, yeah, foam tire 12 scale. Welcome to a real race car on the carpet. And now half of them gone out and bought one, you know, and now 12 scales growing again. We were literally down to like 12 scales, and I think this last season we averaged almost 10 a race. You know, I mean, you just got to get the car in people's hands and let them experience like the difference between, oh, here I raced a NASCAR for a season. Here, go try this. Oh, it handles way better. This is a lot more fun to drive. You know.
Yeah. I know Max wants to try and finish this up, but I want to make a point to the 12 scale thing, and I know Josh is in the comment section kind of talking about this a little bit. You know, we have World GTR, we have 12 scale, and then there's touring car, and Josh kind of said like, well, why are we hung up on touring car? And the whole pan car thing is tough for me because I've never driven a more frustrating vehicle RC wise than an ill-handling pan car.
It's so much fun. I love it.
Then an ill-handling pan car? Oh man, it's like
when you've been racing as long as I have, most of the time your cars are ill-handling. I can't. Mark.
If you're
Mark
running the same car from 10 years ago, then yeah.
Yeah. Mark would know. I do more race directing than working on my own stuff.
Yeah.
So like 90% of the time, oh, the battery's charged. There's tires on it. All right, let me go try to run this thing.
Ready to rock. Yeah.
I was about to say.
Oh, yeah.
What you got? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The last one, too, guys. Somebody actually said that at the Rose one time is that maybe you guys should have either some NASCARs or some house cars. So somebody does come in or bring a friend, or the one young kid you got running at your track brings a buddy, he can run that car for the day. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Should there be 2-3 NASCARs or something?
It's a cost for the owners. It's an added cost that it's sometimes difficult to incur. Do you want to dedicate a few $100 to something that's going to sit or collect dust, or maybe bring someone in?
Yeah,
it's a decision for folks to determine.
Okay.
We tried that at our track.
Mm-hmm.
I personally bought a couple of cars, got them all set for running in USGT, and for the most part, they just sat.
Okay.
We never really got people to come and try it like I thought. Is it a bad idea? No. But you also need to have kind of almost the same thing that, whereas like you have people being able to come in and you can hand them a radio. I mean, most of the time, all our stuff is already charged, ready to go. Like if your rental car isn't sitting there ready to go charged, they're not going to wait the 15-20 minutes to charge it.
Yeah.
They might already be out the door. They're there for 5 minutes to see what's going on. If they're there longer, then great. If they're not, you spike their interest for 5 minutes and hopefully they come back.
So you guys spoke a lot about, some people have hinted what's worked for them, but, maybe share something that's worked for you guys to bring new people in the door, or maybe keep people along. Has there anything that you guys had that's helped bring new people in, or new kids in per se, or new racers in that you may share that other people could learn off of?
I can touch on that. Get in touch with your local school systems, STEM programs, bringing the kids in to do stuff with RC cars, field trips.
If we had huge success on all of our ideas that we've had, which are all great ideas, there really wouldn't be a need for us to have this conversation. So it's a challenge that we're all facing. I think it could be, I mean, if we want to get philosophical, it's a societal based kind of challenge that we're all facing across the board with the access to instant gratification that folks have at this time as well. How do we physically get people out of their home to come to a location to drive something physical on a track that's physical and have real world consequences instead of just hitting a reset button? That's a challenge in this day and age, I think.
I think for us, honestly, the biggest thing has been, getting engaged with our local hobby shop and trying to have a whole local hobby shop that wants people racing, right? Because, the people that walk into those shops, they're already borderline interested in RC cars or something, RC car adjacent, right? So, I mean, you've got a bit of a captive audience there. So, if you can work out some deals with the hobby store, like you mentioned, kind of some package deals or something like that, or the starter cars or stuff like that, just kind of building that relationship, I think is huge.
I mean, other than the typical conversation that we've all had about Losi NASCAR, just kind of trying to put the word out there. I mean, social media, as much as we hate it, is a very good platform to try and push things. I try my best to follow all the tracks as best as I can. I may not be able to travel as much to all of them, but I try to follow all of them as best I can because I try to grab ideas and maybe tweak them a little bit to work with our audience. Or I'm like, I really like that idea. Like the wagon race was I thought that was the coolest thing. Would it work at our facility? Probably not, but I thought that was the coolest thing. But something that we did locally, just because we always do a rolling layout, is we did a race weekend. It's a Saturday, Sunday event where Saturday is one layout. It's practice, 2 rounds of qualifying mains. Track's closed. I go out there, I pull the track up, I pull a whole new layout down. Sunday is practice, 2 qualifiers, round of mains, and we hand out a winner. And it was an idea that was kind of brought on by an Ohio-based series between 2 tracks, and people loved it. And is it a lot of work for me? Yeah, but I rather my sweat equity equates to people having fun and enjoying our facility than whatever I'm having to go through.
So isn't it weird that we as track owners, and I'll speak for myself, I get a certain level of satisfaction and gratification of guys coming to the track and having a good time out there racing cars. Somehow that feels kind of like, that kind of is, seeing it all pay off kind of thing for me.
For me, it's my adrenaline rush.
Yeah. I
get more gratification and satisfaction when somebody comes, even if they ran a round of practice or a round qualifying, and they came up to me and they said, "You know what? This place is awesome." My job's done at that point.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think as a track owner, you have to have that. You can't have that self-absorbed, this needs to work or I'm going to be upset. It's never going to pan out if that's what you're looking for.
Some of our colleagues are like that out there.
I know, and I'm not knocking them for that, but you have to have a passion and a want for this hobby to do something like what we do. You
Brandon,
can't.
How old are you, Brandon?
Me?
Yeah.
39.
39. Well, I didn't.
And I've been doing this. I've been doing this since I was 7 years old.
Yeah. So I guess I started in my 20s, but I really didn't start caring about other people until my early 30s.
In racing or in general?
So kudos to you.
I mean, I mean, it's translated from like when I paint and just my regular life and whatnot. Like, I'm a people pleaser. It sucks to have to do that sometimes, but for me, the gratification for me in this hobby is seeing other people enjoying it. I'm gonna have a bad race day. Who doesn't? Who doesn't get frustrated and want to slam the radio into a billion little pieces? But
they're expensive.
But that being said, like if I have a good race or if I have a bad race or a good race, regardless, I walk off that driver's stand and I congratulate every single person that I raced with and said, you know what, you did great, you did good. I don't care what my award says at the end of the day if I get one. I rather see other people enjoy it and have fun. That's just me. Maybe I'm a different person in that sense, but like I always try to make sure that everybody enjoys the facility. And if they don't like something, come directly to me. Maybe it's something I can work on, we can work on to improve it.
With that personality type, though, like when I manage all my teams in real world, with that personality type, that's terrific to have. But there are times where you probably feel like extremely exhausted.
I got a 5-month-old at home and a 4-year-old. I'm exhausted all the time. I only slept 3 hours last night. And I'm supposed to go to the track tonight to set up the oval, but I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, you're way better than I am. Max, we've taken up a lot of your time this evening.
Oh, this is great, guys, and
that's okay. Max was just going to wrench on his touring car, anyways.
Yes, I was going to go wrench my touring car so I can find some speed. No, but it's been great, guys. Look, we created this short term because what we've all seen on Facebook, it's kind of obvious where the direction of things are maybe going. So I think if we come together as a community, because that's what we are, and hash it out, talk about it, create ideas, and create some type of stir in the pot, hopefully things can change down the road, because we're here because we all love the hobby. We love racing, RC cars. So this is what we have to do to have a solution for the problems that are at hand.
Before everybody goes, I want to challenge all the racers out there, whether you support your track through the summer or not, go and support them. Regardless if it's going race, going practice, pay for a practice pass for the summer, just go support them. They need your support.
100%. And don't throw out used bodies. Don't throw out used tires. I always give my used stuff to people helping.
We
trash doesn't need to see
our track. That's why you'll see my colors on a lot of different beginner TTO2 carts and stuff like that, because we all put our bodies up front and guys will run them and bash them until they're completely dead.
Yep, 100%. Well, boys.
Yeah, we do that too. We have a tire box that we stick all our tires in, and anyone can help themselves and whatever, right? Might be one, might be 10 runs, who knows? But yeah, everything helps.
I'll take your 1 runs. I can't run fresh tires. I have to break them in for a whole run before I can drive a set of tires. And all my guys know that.
Yeah.
Like, Casey, you on freshies? Nope.
Nope. And as Ken says, we're all one time new to this hobby, right?
Yeah.
A lot of new guys coming in. Ask the new guys how they're doing. Ask the old guys how they're doing. Communicate. That's a huge thing. Don't be afraid to talk to each other. Again, we're all here once. We're all new. We're all learning. None of us know it all, or else we wouldn't have this conversation. So,
Max, are you able to set up a poll question and stuff like that through your site just to get some different feedback on some of the topics we talked about?
Yep, I'll do that after the show for sure.
Hopefully you took notes.
I've been taking lots of notes as I've been listening. I feel like I'm back in university class taking notes here. It's been great.
Yeah, we all forgot.
Yeah, I know.
Got to go feed a baby.
Yeah. Korgae's going to go back out in the sun. It looks still sunny over where he is. Danny's going to go shovel this driveway.
Because the earth tilted for you guys now. You get sun a little bit longer or something.
Well, I'm looking at clouds right now. I'm hoping the sun's going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's black and dark here.
I'm north right now, and so it never actually gets completely dark. So gotta have blackout curtains and the whole bit. So
nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, Max. I appreciate it, sir.
No
Yep,
problem.
thanks,
Thank
guys.
you
Thank you
so
guys all
much,
for
guys,
coming
for
on.
joining.
Thanks
Thank
for all
you, guys.
coming on, guys.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope you guys learned
Appreciate
something.
it, guys.
Great points to all the panel members. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice
Thank you
meeting
guys.
Take care, everybody.
Great
Best
conversation.
of luck this
Until
summer.
next time.
Best of luck.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
Take care,
guys. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening, guys.
See ya.
Well, Showtime, thank you all for joining. It's been a great show. I personally learned a lot. There's a lot of great ideas from these guys that the short time I've been in the hobby compared to these guys, it's been interesting and eye-opening for sure.
It always is, Max, right? That's why it's always good to hear. But you see, everybody's got the same struggle. Everyone's got the same stuff. It doesn't, how do you say that? It's irritating. It feels like it's not going to change in some ways, right?
Yeah.
Wish it would. Hey, don't get me wrong, but
Hopefully this is one way in the right direction.
yeah,
for the
and
community
I
as a
love there's a cheaper car, right? Maybe there has to be a whole thing, a whole kit, and everyone's got to run it, right? If you want to run that class, I think it'd be a great thing. If that's the expense is keeping people up.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great idea and one I never thought about. So kudos to who brought it up. But yeah, it's been a great talk. We have another talk next week, same time Tuesday, with another 8 panelists all over North America again. We even got some South American panelists coming on. So it'll be interesting to hear the different context there. And then next week we have our Korgae show too, Monday night as well. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and watching. Thank you for all our panelists again for coming on and all the people messaging me. It's been a slice. Hope everyone has a great evening and learn something. And again, support your track, support your racers. We all love this for a reason. Support your hobby shop.
Track and support your local hobby shop, buddy.
100%. 100%. Well, everyone, it's been a great night. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good night, everyone. See you guys later.
Ciao, buddy.